Okay, it's Sunday and the football's about to start, so this is going to have to be quick, which is what we need. So this is about starting a business oh yeah, I put a picture of me in. So that's me, and there are lots of auras, but yeah, so aura, oral, what can you do? So I've made lots of auras, and what they are assistants. So if you go onto the website, dentalhealthservice.org, you can find the assistants there. And kind of this is what we're trying to do, as I'll explain as we go along. So these are the assistants that I've made. So if you find them, what you can do is you press onto it, it'll show you the kind of the assistant itself when you press on the button. So I've actually got videos of it, and I've got got podcasts on it. So this is what it looks like, the LLM, when you actually go in. And there, this part, I think I put arrows in. These are the resources. So in this instance, these are all the things related to child dental hygiene. And I've realised that some of these that I've made are actually incorrect, right? But what you do is you put in the resources. All my resources that I've done are all videos. I'm rubbish at writing. My English is terrible. My grammar's terrible. But the other part within these LLMs, when you go in, it's got this part called a studio. And I've only just made this, but basically you can use all those elements there. And there only used to be two before, like the video, and then it brought in the podcast about 6 months ago. So what we have for the LLM for the business, if you look closely, then you'll see that it's full of GDC regulations, HMRC and CQC. And so that's how it kind of works. And then you ask it a question. And like I said before, then on some of these, I've made the podcast and the video. And I think as a user, you can't do this, but I can always make them for you like that. And, it might be useful to have the wireframe as it is. So these are my resources. I've made lots of videos. I think I've made about 500. And a lot of them, quite frankly, are rubbish. But to be fair, oral hygiene hasn't changed. When was the last real big advance other than a toothbrush and toothpaste? And these are the things that you need for prevention. So the things where I put it in red there. So yeah, the search engine on YouTube works far better now. So once you're onto my Teeth for Life and search, then search peer review, search AI resources. That's for the playlist. But just search anything. It really does bring up some quite interesting stuff. Search litigation, right? Then there's others playlists that you can't actually access. I think you can see on that they're not accessible. It says unlisted. And there's one called Denflix, which is a video library that I made during COVID. So they're the only videos I haven't made personally, but they have all my details in, and it's made by AI. The video is made by AI. What's sad is that I made one on, I don't think it was the business one, but I think it was on prevention. I sent it to my mates and they said it was the best video I'd ever made. So the other thing that I didn't, as I said, I've got podcasts now and you can download them on Spotify. And actually, it's not me talking, thank God. It's two Americans talking to one another. And 90% of it is accurate. And they're just interesting. All I'm trying to do is to, it's thought-provoking. So this is the website that I'm using, as it says, as an academy. And so on that, this is where we're talking about the business, how you'd start your business. And this is, it's a bot. That actually isn't very good at the moment, but I'm going to put this video behind it. So that bot will actually have this video behind it, telling people how to use this. And this is the section on, I made a book. So it's an ebook on my dental career, as you would say, and that's all it is. It's that some of the things I did work probably frowned upon, but actually they work. And, this is the thing that we need to do. Now, what I need you to do is to help me with these standard operating procedures. And the way it will work is using a chatbot. So all the information within this chatbot that I've made now is actually stuff, as you could see before, from the CQ. None of my stuff. It's all stuff from the CQC, GDC. There's something they called IO. I can't remember what that is, but that's GDPR. And I may have left some out. So then I can pop them in, and then the answers we'll get will be correct. The little references there to the GDC and the CQC is that they're into investigation themselves. The very people that make our lives a misery at times. And we do need regulators, we just need decent ones. So anyway, you can click on that. So for yourselves, this is what I'm trying to get your help from, because most of you hopefully will have done this. You will have set up your own business. So the LLM is basically, you can ask your ChatGPT any question and it'll look for a good answer. But if it can't find it, it'll get a more obscure one. And it uses more or less everything that it can scrape from the internet. So what I've made is a RAG system. Basically, it should only use the information that I've put into it. So when it comes to making a business and you ask it a question and what you need to do, it uses the resources I've put in. And if I've forgotten a resource, then you tell me and I'll drop it in. Now, some of these resources are really long, and I've asked the CQC and the GDC when I was at the dental show at NEC a week ago. And to be fair, they know they can't answer. They won't answer, but they're trying. I mean, the CQC, as I'd been to the care home show a couple of weeks before, and they had a big stand and asked for help for getting dental nurses to go into care homes. There were about 12 of these people on CQC, and said I'd have to send in an email. And of course, I said, well, no one will reply. And I sent in an email. No one's replied. So should that stop us doing something? I don't think so. So anyway, this one is where you all come in, is if you've done this, and even if you haven't, just try it out and see how the business chatbot works. And does it throw out the good answers? And if it doesn't, how can we improve it? And so this is the optimum thing whereby we can set up a business within dentistry and know that we're more or less on the right path and won't get into trouble. So this is basically what I've been using a fair bit over the last year or so. And I did do a course on it. So I can now code, sort of. Anyway, so this is there are lots of different assistants. I've generally just used ChatGPT. I haven't got time to do them all. And they all keep improving and outdoing one another. And I'd be very surprised, as you've probably heard, if all these 4 exist in about 5 years' time. The big worry is if it's just one, because then it'll get really expensive for all of us. And if you look at what I wrote, I just talk to my computer when I remember just to talk rather than try and type, because it's a lot quicker. And then the ChatGPT tidies it up, and then you end up with something like this. And I asked it for a prompt, and that's what you're meant to do, is to ask it, but ask it in a... you have to be clever, which I'm not, in the way you ask it questions. And the reason, that I know this, and you probably know it already, is I was listening to this book recently. I heard him on a podcast, and I listened to it this weekend. And these are the things that he said about in the future, which is one of the things that I always think is that the dental team, a lot of them are more empathetic than the dentists. And we have this hierarchy to do with academia, when actually when you're looking after people's health, there's an awful lot more empathy involved, and actually caring for people and being good with your hands. And sometimes we miss that. And of course, using AI now, if you haven't got the knowledge, then you just need to find somewhere where it is reliable. And that's what, if we build an LLM, that's what it will be. It will be a trustworthy resource that people can use without what they call hallucinations, and without it just making things up. So these things will improve. And so what I have done, I've made quite a few different sort of websites. And what we can do is we can make individual websites extremely cheaply compared to the norm. And that would possibly fund what I'm trying to achieve. Because I know the LLM at the moment, you need a Google account. And to make it sort of completely open source, I've asked ChatGPT, and it thinks with my current learning ability, it's going to take me about 6 weeks. And I'm not doing that. Anyway, so this is what we will have, is that if you make one, I think dentists would benefit from it the most, because we provide more services. And it's central to it will be this one of these bots. And I've got someone doing this for me at the moment, which would merge all the chatbots that I've made into one. So it's just a one place where you can ask one question, and that would be the user. And that's how it should be. So hopefully we can get that started, but it will need some funding. And so I'd need to charge for these websites, and I think it'd be about £10 a month, and just need to get that going. And this is what I was talking about, the bureaucracy. The one on the left, if you look closely, it relates to Parkinson's law. What's happened when you build a bureaucracy, you give someone a job, they're going to fill the time, and they want to put hurdles in your place because it's their job to do, so it makes them more important. Very few people say, actually, I'll make myself redundant because this isn't needed anymore. And the one on the right is just with computers, and to be honest, it's got worse. And there's a book there called The Undeniable Machine, I think. And I've listened to that. I think I listened to it 2 or 3 times. It's really difficult at the beginning to make head and a tail of it. But basically, it's the same thing. We may have improved technology, but the bureaucracy, if anything, has got bigger. And this is the other part that I always think is that when I ask the CQC and the GDC for questions, if they'll send me any answers, they won't. And what they won't do is they won't put the name. I just had one from the GDC where they put the name on their advice, and there are lots of things that really are redundant. The thing about radiographs and fitting replica dentures, that's a bit nuts. But hopefully we can dig our way around this. And just because we don't get a reply from the CQC or GDC, and I've been waiting for about 2 years for one on using AI to interpret X-rays, it doesn't mean we shouldn't try. And so we can end up with this. So first we can do an oral health service and setting up mobile units for dentists to send out their nurses, or for nurses to do it independently. And so if you are a dental nurse or you want to start your own business, then all you would need is to do one of these courses that are under 6 months. And if you get the qualification, you can then, especially if the setting up the business part works, and then you'll have a job. You may be self-employed, but you'll provide a service that is required in care homes. And I've been around lots of care homes trying to implement this. And so, and then you'll be able to promote yourself, which is one of the things is that it's difficult to promote yourself. Then you can promote yourself for free on the website. You just need to register and upload your documents. Anyway, I'll do this again, but this will have to do for now. I'll wait for your feedback.